Um, uh, okay, Mimi, we welcome you for our case studies, group studies, whatever we can call it. We've been practicing this for past 8 to 9 years in our fitness lifestyle because I believe we need more experts to create awareness, to grow the awareness. So in a small area, Buntung area in Perak, so we start off of this. So my relationship with all the universities of UiTM, is always there. UPSI always there because the lecturers are very close to me. So because we are doing very much scientific things over here. You know what I mean? But the challenge is huge because many people coming here with disease, injuries. So we are dealing with the high performance athletics as well, racket sports who have a tennis elbow issues, football players who had an ACL before. So we are dealing with that. But we are born to be a physical trainer. So in the medical terms, we have certain lackness. So we don't have an expert. As what I told them, back there in Australia, we do have every fitness aid industries have a consultant, sports medicine doctor. So any major issues which is medically involved, we need to consult the doctor to get authorization, and then only we can deal with the members. Otherwise, the member will sue us.
Right.
So this is why globally what people are doing it, but sadly Malaysia is not taking into a consideration. So we fail in that area. Whereby we lose many grads, many experts, which is not being recognized well. You got it. So this you have to stop this, or we need to slow down all this disaster. So we need to increase the awareness. So we are very proud and honored to have you here, and thank you so much all the way from Simpang Pulau. Because on the first day itself, I noticed that your potential is huge. I never stop admire that you work along with all these challenges and obstacles with the players, dealing with them. And I know impact from the political side, and we all aware with that. And I told them they need to be mentally, they need to be firm during their working time to not give up. You know what I mean? And the private sectors, we are more dealing with bodybuilders, steroids, the morons are there. So we are dealing with the steroids bodybuilding industry. Everywhere you go, protein, creatine, without KKM approval, they are selling steroids. So they hardly do the cardio, they won't do the mobility exercises, whichever compound training, they won't do, what we call that, free motion exercises like this, you know what I mean? So we are the one who are more emphasizing on balancing, this and that, this and that. So we believe this is a lifestyle that everybody need to have. So in that area we feel. So that's the reason why we want to have you here to explain about your experience and how you deal with certain injuries and all that, because kita tak nak melangkah ke depan tanpa apa-apa weapon of knowledge, straight away tell. And then we are glad enough. We are promoting, we post all our videos. The reason why we are posting our videos is not to create marketing, you understand? In a way, yeah, but in another way, I have so many coaches will comment into my account. I ready to face that. Because the other day we did some little bit of a mistake. So this national coach, the Masale coach, that asked me, Sam, I think you need to be improving this. And Dr. Pete also messaged me the other day when we were doing the sliding board. Sam, have you noticed the knees? So these are the way that I have no choice to do this because we learn a lot from it. And we are glad that last week you have encountered our issues. David's training whereby the MSN player, when he jumped on plyo jump, and his landing was not so accurate. She said the feet is collapsing, so it might lead to ACL injuries. So we are glad and we are honored, and thank you so much to correct us. And without wasting time, Shamini is our physiotherapy in our Perak FC, and she not only carrying her degree beside her. That is always a secondary, but most important is the experience and the knowledge that she carried since 2014 with the football team, with all the players. So she's been gone through with ACL players. She dealt with so many ACL problems beside other issues. Shoulder injuries. So that is the fourth topic that we want to touch. Achilles tendon injuries is very much into athletics, futsal, you know what I mean? So one knock, there, you know what I mean? And then we do have ACL, you know, we are dealing with the muscles. Yeah, they're dealing with the inner, like ligaments, tendons, and all that, right? So of course we want to strengthen up the quadriceps. So femur, again the tibia. In between we have what? Ligament. So that is the area. This area is very sensitive area. Happen where we turn, we jump, you know what I mean? And then change of direction. So futsal also can cause so many ACL injuries because of the surface. That's how many players are facing the problem. And then the racket sport, we are training the under 12 badminton, under 14 badminton state players. We are doing the racket sports. And then of course I'm training personally squash, tennis player, Amanda. Now she's in Wakil Malaysia. So we are using tennis. So forearm training, bracket analysis, we only focus on the muscles, but we never focus more into the joints. So racket sport always have a tennis elbow injuries, right? And Achilles tendon, tennis elbow injuries, shoulder injuries can be on the swimmers. Working on the lengthening the muscle very rapidly, repetitionally increase the muscular injury. So these are the areas that we are facing. We are facing big challenge, and plus if we can add on with our general, not only the sports athletic, general obesities. Also, we are facing So, I highlight you a little bit of our case studies, which we have did before. Obese, okay, height is 165, the weight is almost 96, a female, okay, and having ACL tear, not by sports, accident, car accident, had their injuries, and also they have sciatica problems, you know what I mean? And then scoliosis, and coming here, she want to lose fat desperately, and she can't walk on the treadmill because she on the treadmill, her heart rate boosts up to 80%, by walking. So we put her on the bike. She already have a back pain problem because fat loss, I was telling them, is more towards longer duration. We're doing constant movements so that to increase the metabolism. This is what we study as a trainer. So now we can't put her on the bike. We can't put her on the treadmill, but she got several problems. Yeah, hypertension also. And the area of us to do the strength conditioning is a very subjective. Is she a medical? She's more towards medical. So what we can do? So that is another topic that you can lastly highlight as a physio what the best we can advise. And introduce yourself.
David.
Interview. Ravi. Can I know your name and what course are you taking and your age as well?
My name is Ivan Management. Studying event management.
Event management?
Event management.
Okay.
Yeah, my age is 20.
My name is Nazrul. I'm studying in UiTM Arab, taking Bachelor of Sports Science.
Sem keberapa juga? Your final year? Or
Final year.
Final year. So your final year, right? Mia?
Yeah, my name is Joe Mahdi. Okay, I'm from UiTM Islam. So I study about sport science, bachelor sport science, and this is my last year.
My name is Nabiuddin. I'm studying sports studies at UiTM Arab. My age is 20. Last time.
Okay, my name is Aris. Same thing with Nazrul and Mio. Living Batu Gajah, age 22. What else?
What is that?
Internship here.
Sport science?
Sport science,
Yeah,
bachelor of sport science. Yes.
Okay. Okay, my name is Nasha Mimi Alia, but I don't call myself Kak Mimi, don't call me Kak Mimi. I never ask, even the youngest player never call me Kak Mimi. Haram. So just call me Mimi. Kita just lepak santai sembang-sembang macam biasa saja. No, yesterday I was like, apa aku nak ajar korang ni kan? Because actually this is a lot of topics. In uni, we cover one topic, one class. And kita kena study how's the mechanism of injury, how's the macam mana jadi, macam mana kita nak rawat, what the stages, you know. And looking at this, and yesterday I was like, apa aku nak ajar korang ni? Sebab terlalu banyak. Then baru I sedar, if you have phones, before that, I don't want to explain so much of my experiences later on. I think at the end of the day, I will explain our cerita, what are the things that I've been through. But I think the main thing I come here is to share the knowledge. That is the main purpose. I come here to share the knowledge. So I'm very excited to tell you guys what I've experienced and what is the correlation with my knowledge and my experiences. Okay? So do you have a phone right now? Like your own phone? Sebab semalam nak tengok satu-satu injury ni terlalu banyak. So I'm coming to a conclusion that, and I printed this one, tapi dia kat rumah sangat dah teruk. Can you Google me soft tissue, you can take mine. Soft tissue healing timeline. Any graph or any tables, anything yang you rasa you senang faham. The easiest for you, because most of you are, because I know this has a background with event managing, so I don't want to terlalu banyak sangatlah kita cakap pasal medical, but I can, because most of you guys are sports injuries and have an experiences with an injury, but this is just a general knowledge for you guys to understand. So this is a soft tissue injury timeline. Kalau imagine if you are a physical trainer, there's one client, call as a client. For me, it's called a patient. So this one patient here, kita tak tahu dia grade berapa. Contoh macam Sam dia tadi, dia ada obese patient, ACL, grade 1 ke grade 2 ke grade 3 ke. But for you guys, you don't know. As long as you know, okay, dia ada sciatica, dia ada back pain, dia ada ACL. Those things saja. You nampak patient ni, dia ada injury tu. Tapi for us, we need to know what are the stages they are. What are the, dah berapa lama. Kita kena tengok very good into details, because we need to treat the symptoms. But you guys need to treat the overalls. So, this one patient, dia ada ACL. Okay, dia ada ACL, dia ada sciatica, dia ada back pain. Kita ambil yang case yang tadi lah, dia ada yang tadi. So, macam mana you guys nak treat patient ni? I tanya you dulu, macam mana you nak treat patient ni? Kalau saya treat dia punya symptoms dahulu. This is for a medical side. But for you guys, I ask them first. What do you want to tackle for this one patient? Straighten the muscle. You? I tanya medical je. Okay, you? Sebab dia punya goal nak lose fat, right? He wanted to be kurus. She wanted to be kurus, kan? You? Strengthen lah. You? Rasa? Strengthen. Okay.
Before kita nak strengthen tu, kita kena buat test dulu kan? Sebab dia ada injury. So before kita nak buat apa-apa, kita kena buat test dulu. So untuk patient tu, apa yang dia boleh buat kan?
Alright. So, buat test dulu. First, kita buat test dulu. Okay.
For me, ask me.
Okay.
For me, before we think about strength, I will identify the issue of the injuries, and of course, we need to go through the hardness of the injuries. Then we will see which will be the main thing that we can encounter first.
Right. Okay. So for me, the answer would be is this: a timeline of injury. We don't know how long this person has an injury, but you need to look at the timeline. But this one, I dah cuba print, dah still lagi tak nampak. So, if you look back at the timeline of injury, the graph here says the first day to 5th day is the inflammation process. You pernah nak nampak apa-apa injury, orang datang, physio datang, dia terus letak ais, because akan terus jadi bengkak kan? So, the first to 5 days is the inflammation process. That the situation akan jadi bengkak, akan jadi merah, akan jadi macam berair, like macam tu kan. So daripada timeline ni you akan tahu apa yang kita kena buat masa tu. Actually I wanted to project, I dah siapkan I tak bawa laptop lah, everything. Tapi I just wanted you to imagine whatever that happen in your life selama ini. Kalau you jadi knock, ataupun you kena langgar kerusi ke, you kena tackle ke, first akan jadi esoknya bengkak. Dia akan jadi biru, dia akan jadi pedih, dia akan jadi sakit. So actually there's 5 sign of symptom of inflammation. that is medical terms, which is pain, inflammation, reduce strength, what else? Those two. Sakit, ada 5 polodonor, dia ada 5 sign and symptoms. So kalau 5 injury ni, okay, you bayangkan saja. Luka. Kenapa I tak nak, I'm really sorry. Kenapa I tak nak go through each one of them? That we will go through that. Tapi I saja nak generalkan sebab semuanya ini adalah injury. So I saja nak generalkan dulu. I nak you faham konsep injury dulu. Okay, you bayangkan sini there's a cut here. There's a cut here, first akan jadi bengkak dulu. So imagine kalau patient ni baru sangat injured dia, tapi kita terus bagi strengthening exercise. Kita terus bagi dia apa-apalah, you know, any exercises. So imagine dia akan koyak balik. Imagine there's a cut here and I do this movement. There's a cut here and I do this movement. Tak ke dia akan jadi lagi koyak kan? Right? So the first thing, tengok balik timeline ni, inflammation takes 5 days. Inflammation takes 5 days. So, nak tunggu dia tutup balik, dia ambil masa 5 hari. So, kena tunggu dia tutup dulu. You cannot do movement here. Right? So, apa yang kita nak buat 5 hari tu? Which is not this is not your task. Because this is actually the medical. So, the patient, the client come here, usually they are on their like 12 days, dah 2 minggu dah sakit. Ini ada 2 minggu sakit, tapi still lagi rasa sakit lagi. So, 5 days is the inflammation process. Until proliferation phase, ambil masa sampai 24 hari. Tapi injury apa yang ambil masa daripada 24 hari? Ada je injury yang sikit-sikit macam tennis elbow, seminggu dah okey. Sebab hari ke-7 mungkin dia dah okey sebab proliferation phase takes 4 to 24 days. The proliferation, which means the luka koyak, dia tumbuh balik, dia ambil masa dari hari ke-4 ke hari ke-24 hari. So mungkin hari ke-7 tu dah start proliferation phase untuk grade 1. Faham tak? Faham tak? Ya, injury kita, saya saja nak cerita dulu bahagian injury. Because all of this is actually an injury. So, if you have a tennis elbow, 1 injured. So, actually standard pun 1 snap injured. Rotator cuff pun sama juga injury. ACL pun sama juga injury. Tapi what are the stages? What are the days that the patient, that the client comes to you? That is very important. So the first thing first, you need to look at their timeline of injury first. Okay. The second one is the healing times. You perasan tak? Ada satu, kalau you nak generalkan lah. There's one client of this, having a tennis elbow, tapi dah 2 minggu, dia kata dah okay. But this another client, dia datang, dia sebenarnya dah 2 bulan, still lagi stagnant, dia punya injury. Right? Have you encountered that kind of situation? Even for yourself. Like for yourself, you have a calf injuries, tapi lepas sebulan dah okay. Tapi the next year, kena calf, apa lah tak elok-elok lagi Right? Those kind of situations. So how? What? Kenapa jadi macam benda-benda macam tu? It's because of this, healing times. So, each and every structure of your soft tissue has a different timeline of injuries. Contohnya, hamstrings takes 1 month, 2 months. But if you injured at your tendons, kita panggil attachment, which is here, and here, the tendons took longer times. Because why? Because tendon has no blood supply. Kalau makan ayam, the muscle warna merah kan. Bila kita makan hujung yang crunchy tu warna putih. Because there's no blood there. We need blood to bring the oxygen, to bring the nutrients, to heal that. So kita boleh pump balik, injured, bagi oxygen, bagi nutrients and pergi balik jantung, kita recover balik. Dia pergi balik. Those are the cycles. To get the nutrients, to get the oxygen. But the tendons, the ligament, the meniscus, they don't have the blood supply there. Very limited. Sebab tu injury dia lama. Okay. Perasan tak? Another one thing here. Another one thing here. Tendon, ligament. If you notice, all of these 4 injuries that you always encounter, sebabkan dia lambat recover. Sebab dia tak ada blood supply. So, kalau I balik-balik, this is tendon, and ligaments. Kalau tendon, I'm sorry, I wanted to skip so much.
No
sebabkan
problem, no problem.
I wanted to skip sebabkan terlalu banyak untuk I explain. Okay. Tendon injuries. All these 3 tendon injuries usually happen with what mechanism? With what kind of mechanism? Neo? David?
Joints.
All joints injuries. Kalau okay, you perasan, I bagi you satu situation. Tennis elbow. Have you ever encountered any tennis elbow with client before? No. Anybody else?
I have.
You have? Okay.
Hockey player.
How can your client get injured?
Because of the forearms, of the swing,
Mm.
explosive,
Okay. Because of the explosive.
repetitively.
Overuse.
Overuse. Okay. Actually standard? Macam mana dia boleh jadi?
Cakap lah, sudah orang snap
Macam mana
lah.
dia boleh snap?
Impact.
Impact,
Jumping and then getting.
jumping, landing.
Overturn.
Okay.
Think. Apa? Diorang tak ada.
Think. Okay, first thing first. I need you two guys to understand every single joint has its movement. Contoh, we call it as a rotator cuff, shoulder. So when you extend, snap. Actually tendon. So when you wanted to you extend, and then when you wanted to macam take off, snap. Apa lagi? Tennis elbow. So many of repetition. You nampak tak? I wanted you to look at my hand. Repetitively. So you tarik, snap. So I started the keywords dalam semua tiga-tiga ni. It's an eccentric loading. Perasan? Eccentric. What is eccentric?
Muscle lengthening.
So
Muscle lengthen. Do you understand muscle lengthening or not?
Yes.
Right, muscle lengthen. So this is contraction.
Contraction.
So this is eccentric. This is muscle lengthen. But if the muscle and the tendons tak boleh carry those loadings, tak boleh carry the, mungkin dia boleh tahan 10 what is this?
Reps of smash.
Yes. But the tendons cannot load until 20, 80. So that's why they get injured. So when this muscle extend, the tendons get very lengthened.
Snap.
What's the words? Muscle boleh contracts and relax. Do tendon have? Do tendon can?
No. Follow the muscle.
Right? Right? So all these injuries follows the muscles. So muscle boleh je flexible. Okay, they can move, they can lengthen, they can flex. But the tendon cannot. The tendon cannot follows the muscles. So that's why, aku dah tak boleh ni. Tapi dia paksa, aku dah tak boleh ni. Dia tak boleh. Last kali dia pun cabut sekali. Last kali dia pun koyak. Those things happen. That's why in like the real sports, we call it as an injury prevention, where kita ajar patient ataupun client tu on eccentric training. Did you know that eccentric training is the injury prevention, the best injury prevention for any soft tissue injuries? Eccentric training. You Google any eccentric training, really focus on injury prevention. Why? You can do 20 squats like 70 kilos, 120 kilos, but on contraction. But kita letakkan patient tu atau kita letakkan client tu dekat padang. Contohlah, I bagi you situation. Dia nak lari, hamstring injury, I call it as a hamstring injury. Dia nak lari, bila dia nak lari tu snap, koyak. So, you see the movement. Hamstrings bekerja dalam what movement? Flexion extension. But so these muscles dia bukan untuk flexion. So tapi extension dia untuk eccentric. So you see hamstrings contracts. So hamstrings use, right? So when they extend, they are in eccentric. So I ulang balik semula. Hamstring bengkok dia baru bekerja. You see the contracts. They contract. So when they extend, they are in eccentric. So when they wanted to push, snap. Understand? Understand or not? So
create the explosiveness.
Yes.
Power.
Any movement, any tendons, any muscles that get injury because of the force that they need to create. Contoh yang the smash is because of this and tolak. Tarik because they need to create the force. They need to create the power, the energy. Needs to kan dia tarik dulu baru dia pergi. Bukan dia pergi. Contoh kalau macam ni kan, tak boleh pergi banyak sangat. So dia kena tarik dulu baru dia boleh pergi. So the eccentric that you need to create to load the force that is causing the injury. So as this tennis elbow, as this Achilles tendon, and for the rotator cuff. Like contoh orang letak peluru, he needs to extend. So dah lah dia berat, dia kena load lagi, and then dia kena extend lagi, and bukannya bila nak pergi tu baru rasa sakit sebab dia dah stretch so much, loads to carry the loads, and baru like throw the ball. Dah tak mampu, dah pergi, dah lah berat lagi, dia kena create energy lagi sebab tu koyak. Right? So these three injury are caused by eccentric movement. Sebab tu kita kena ajar sebelum clients atau patient tu injured, kita kena ajar dia eccentric movement ni. So really eccentric training kena very slow and progressively loading. So slow and slow lepas. Lepas tu baru kita kalau you perasan I tak nak masuk kepada rehab sangat sebab kalau injury, kalau betul-betul player injured, tendon ke hamstring ke, kita akan ajar dia untuk eccentric training dulu, bagi masa tu lengthen dulu, baru kita ajar dia untuk concentric. Untuk ACL pula, sebab tadi ada cover untuk history, untuk ACL pula, may I know you, ACL macam mana boleh jadi?
I tak ada experience tapi I take one of my friends play football. So when he jump, want to reach the ball, and then when they landing, the knee snap.
The knee snap.
He heard the sound, the pop sound.
He heard the snap sound. Okay. Kalau you perasan kan, semua injury ni, kita nak tahu player tu ataupun client tu ada injury ke tak, semuanya based on the movement of the muscles or the movement of the joint, how it works. I tahu you tak faham. Tapi contohnya, kalau hamstring. Tapi contohnya macam hamstring. Kalau you tak tahu macam mana hamstring bekerja, macam mana you nak tahu dia ni snap? Right, contohnya you tak tahu pun hamstring ni bekerja sebenarnya sebagai bengkokkan kaki ke, gerakkan ankle ke. Tapi you tak tahu macam mana hamstring ni bekerja, you tak boleh nak correlatekan dengan mechanism of injury. Macam rotator cuff juga. You know rotator cuff, nama je sebenarnya rotator cuff. Tapi rotator cuff is included with 4 muscles. So each muscles works differently. Tapi kalau you tak tahu macam mana how the muscle works, the muscle is actually for abduction, for external rotation, for this and that. For the ACL, we are coming to ACL. Macam mana, apakah fungsi ACL? Saya faham bukan orang medical kat sini. Tapi ACL
Between
femur.
the femur and the tibia frontal.
Yes.
Because it's located in the middle.
Hmm?
Connection between them.
Alright. So,
Ligament.
ligament.
Connection between
Connection
the
between.
femur.
But what is the function?
Function, flexion, extension.
Yes.
No. So,
Keep the
keep the
stability.
keep the stability, yes. But ACL, PCL, so both are keeping the stability. So what are the real function? Kenapa ramai sangat orang injek ACL ni? Kan? So ACL, PCL, dulu stability. Tapi kenapa orang ramai injek ACL? So these are the femur. These are the tibia.
Tibia.
These are the femur. So you imagine like this. So the ACL stays in the middle,
Yes.
right? So ACL is like this. So imagine ACL is like this. PCL is like this, staying behind.
It stabilize the knee joint.
It is stabilizing the knee joint. Even the MCL stabilizing the knee joint. Even MCL is stabilizing the knee joint. PCL also stabilizing the knee joint. Tapi kenapa ramai sangat yang injek ACL? Kenapa ACL senang sangat injek?
Maybe because of rotated in the middle.
Oversliding.
Sorry?
Oversliding.
No, that is the cause. She asking.
What is the function of ACL? Kenapa
Function.
senang sangat ACL ni injek?
Okay.
Right. So kita jadi macam geram. Kenapa player ni senang sangat inject ACL? Kenapa korang tak pernah terfikir? Kenapa senang sangat ACL ni inject? Kenapa ni senang sangat? Macam tadi kita boleh tahu. Because of those movement yang dia pegang. Macam ini eccentric movement sebab dia control this kind of movement. Sama juga dengan ACL sebab ACL dia control anterior translation of a tibia.
So dekat depan.
Dia duduk kat depan. Contoh, I bagi you satu movement. So kalau kita landing, the tibia goes forward, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So sama juga kita nak pergi, kita nak lari pun tibia goes forward, right? So dia control the anterior translation of the tibia.
Tulis lah.
Yes, dia
Very
control.
important.
Dia control the anterior translation of a tibia. So kalau sebenarnya bukan kalau, apa-apa movement sekalipun yang kita buat, dia punya tibia kita akan ke depan. Kalau lah squat sekalipun, sebab tu orang kata jangan pointed forward because you look so much on the ACL. Kalau kita nak jumping sekalipun, kita akan macam ni. Kalau kita macam ni, kita nak pergi tempat lain pun sama juga macam tu. So any movement is actually related. Dia akan bagi stress dekat ACL. Macam mana boleh senang sangat inject?
Still issue.
Sebabkan mechanical problems, dia punya landings, he don't know how to land properly, he don't know how to turn properly. So kalau ni terlebih sangat, ACL. Kalau you squat macam ni sangat, ACL. Pernah tak tengok yang viral videos dia pakai goblet squat, CC squat tu? Macam ni, yang pernah tak tengok yang baru-baru ni, last month, viral video, ACL dia right?
Came up.
Terus keluar. Because so much stress here, so dia push forward, dia kena ACL. Kenapa PCL susah sangat jadi? Sebab dia cover the posterior translation. Dia pergi ke belakang. Macam mana ACL? PCL nak inject? Susah sangat. Unless that they are goalkeeper. Goalkeeper sangat senang. Sebab kenapa? Goalkeeper bila dia pergi jumping, orang akan kena tackle, orang akan datang dekat dia. So orang sempat campai kaki je. So pergi tolak kaki di belakang. Contoh macam ni. So PCL ke belakang. Right? Right. So and kenapa players senang sangat inject ACL? Sebab dia tackle di belakang. So goes ke depan. So unless kalau orang tu inject PCL sebab orang tu tackle daripada depan, dia senang sangat inject PCL dia. PCL susah sangat inject kalau orang biasa.
So kalau cara ni tackle tu ada test lah.
PCL, ACL confirm. PCL pun confirm juga.
My question is, it's good that you explain to us because we really need to know this so that we can later correlate it with our strengthening area problem. Then we put the loop band and then we do the adjustment on the muscles group. Okay, fantastic. But how to identify whether it's strain or tear? But some people say it's a popping sound.
Right.
Pop, the steps, popping sound. Each time you do it, it's them because we are not the expert enough to hold the exact area to rectify it. So now, which one is correct?
Okay, berbalik kan, itu semua tadi adalah medical punya issue saja. So kalau patient ni semua pergi kat korang, orang nak apa-apa? Even the patient or the client comes to me, we know what to do because we are a medical person. We know like specific regime like what to do, right? So kepada korang, berbalik kepada ini, what need to do, what not need to do, dah cover belum, dah recover belum, dah tumbuh belum. Tapi ceritanya, berhenti tak? Boleh tak? Apa nak buat? Nak prescribe exercise apa? Patient ni boleh tak buat macam ni? Patient ni boleh tak buat macam ni? The answer is really hard to tell. But ACL, you dah kena tahu macam tadi I cakap, apa function ACL? Anterior translation. So avoid any movement yang benda tu boleh pergi anterior translate lagi. Faham? Sebab tu kena balik pada anatomy balik. You kena kuat balik anatomy. So kalau patient tu dah ACL, you bagi deep squat, hancurlah keluar lagi. So unless you do a goblet squat, you really secure the knee and you pergi ke belakang. Dia tak ada anterior translation. So semuanya kena berbalik kepada anatomy. Macam soalan Sam tadi, apa benda boleh ke tak boleh? Macam mana?
You see, like a physio, you guys like when you see and then we do some movement testing. You all
Testing.
The problem,
Check
Bone-
about
you see,
normal and abnormal.
Yes.
Okay.
Because our issues here, when they come with the ACL, we need to ask the doctor a letter lah, we need to ask their so on lah. So when they go back, they will never come back. So I lost my business.
Okay.
So in that area, a simple test to rectify some other ACL tu tak. Some people say it's popping sound, based on my experience. Sometimes I check, there's no popping sound. So I'm not sure whether I'm checking it properly, or maybe there is a strain. It's not a tear.
Okay. Soalan ni sebenarnya sangat susah. But if you watch siapa punya game hari tu, Danish, he got injured in one match. Terengganu, I think.
Yeah.
Terengganu.
Home game.
Hari ni dia operation ACL. Sebenarnya masa game tu dia dah kena ACL. Tapi lepas habis game dia boleh jalan. I have 13 ACL within 5 years. I have 13 players ACL within 5 years. Each one of them has different symptoms, have different testing, have different sebabkan Danish, kita tak suspect dia pun ACL. Sebab bila kita buat testing, dia tak loose pun. Lutut dia tak loose pun. I teach you one testing that kita boleh test untuk ACL. So, client or patient boleh dia duduk dalam mana-mana position, boleh dia duduk kat bawah tak. Fixkan dia.
Relax.
This is just a basic testing. Dia fixkan dia punya lutut, kaki, kalau dia nak baring pun boleh, tak kisah. So you hold this, boleh tak naikkan lagi? Sorry. Okay. Kita pegang dia punya tibia. Apa function ACL? Untuk anterior translation kan. So when we push forward, ACL dah tak ada, kita akan boleh nampak ni akan bergerak. So here, so when we push forward, dia akan nampak, kita panggil as a laxity. The knee is very lax, very loose. So kita akan tarik macam ni, kita pegang macam ni, kita boleh nampak dekat joint line ni dia akan pergi ke depan. So tibia ni akan bergerak ke depan. That is ACL. But for you guys, you can check this. ACL. Tapi macam I cakap, different players, different clients, different patients has a different mechanism, has a different symptoms. Macam Danish, macam Bam, dia tak ada langsung anterior. Because you know why? Because the muscle is very huge. It holds the knee. Sebabkan quadricep kita kan melekat dekat sini. Hamstring kita melekat kat sini. So it really secures the knee. So kalau kita tarik sekalipun, takkan longgar. Takkan boleh pergi. So kita buat macam ni lah dekat bum. Tak rasa sakit langsung. Sebab dia ada very good muscle bulk. So another testing yang kita boleh buat untuk PCL ni, PCL, posterior translation. So we just push backwards. Kita pun boleh nampak yang ini dia akan pergi ke belakang. Dia akan loose. Tolak macam ni pun, kalau PCL pun boleh nampak loose. Sebab dia dah tak ada apa-apa yang pegang dia. So, duduk pada atas. So, kalau korang dekat dalam gym sendiri, macam mana nak tahu patient ni dia kata dia ada ACL? Tapi kita nak, dia dah subscribe dengan kita, dia dah sign up dengan kita. Nak buat apa? So, just do anything. Put it in the squat, put it in the lunges. You determine apa yang dia boleh buat dan apa yang dia tak boleh buat. Contohnya, biasanya ACL, dia tak boleh bengkok kaki langsung. Right? And kalau orang tu, dia ada meniscus, dia tak boleh kaki lurus langsung. Because meniscus, I jangan anatomy lah pula.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So kalau meniscus, this is femur, this is tibia. So dia duduk macam ni. Meniscus stays like this, stays in the middle. So kalau meniscus tu ngam-ngam, kaki dia boleh lurus. Tiba-tiba ada koyak, you bayangkan kalau benda ni air ni terkoyak, terkeluar, kulit dia terkeluar, ada something, so macam dia tak ngam-ngam. So meniscus dia takkan boleh straightkan lutut. Tapi tak juga, ada je meniscus yang boleh straight lutut sebab dia jadi kat bahagian belakang. So dia boleh ngam-ngam, depan boleh ngam-ngam, belakang dia tak boleh ngam-ngam. Macam tu. Ada setengah pula, dia meniscus tapi dia punya luka tak naik ke atas, tak terjojol macam tu. Dia masuk macam tu. So dia just luka macam tu. Dia tengok bergantung kepada what kind of injury that the meniscus has. So, berbalik kepada soalan Sam dan soalan Mio tadi, apa yang kita nak buat? Kita dah, klien tu dah datang dekat kita. So, what we need to do? So, just do all exercises. Just do, macam contoh kan, macam even for my player, 5 hari, coach dah bising-bising. Mimi, bila player ni dah 5 hari dah ni kau, coach, hamstring koyak kot, kita nak buat apa? Tapi kita tak boleh juga, kita tak boleh relax duduk tepi padang. Coach, dia baru dia kena coach, dia dah bengkak lagi, dia tak boleh buat apa-apa. We cannot. So the player ni dia bayar 1 hari 1,000, contoh gaji dia 50,000. Hari ni sehari 1,000, so duduk tepi je, senang lah kau. Right, so what we need to do as a physio? So what you guys need to do? The patient, the client comes to you with an injury. So just do anything with the injury, tapi yang tak menyakitkan dia lagi. That not gonna worsen the injury, that not gonna worsen the pain. Kalau you balik buka ada satu I forward to you later. Macam mana kita nak progress the rehab, how you gonna progress the program. Satu, kalau dia tak rasa sakit dah. Contohnya, I will give you one example. The patient, the client still ada ACL. Tapi sebelum ni, Mimi, aku sebelum ni nak bangun pun tak boleh. Tapi still ada ACL. Tapi sekarang dah boleh. So mungkin you boleh still keep on doing squats. Mungkin boleh deepkan lagi. Mungkin tambah weight lagi. So we add the frequency, we add the
Intensity.
difficulty, intensity and time. So kita tambah empat tu. Intensity, time, difficulty, repetitions, those things. You know, dia still ada injury tu, tapi dia still lagi boleh. Mimi, aku dah boleh. Dia ada back pain, dia ada sciatica, tapi Mimi sebelum ni 5 minit pun aku tak boleh lari. Tapi now they can run 10 minutes. So keep on adding sampai dia reach the punya threshold. So if you tak boleh, patient ni tak boleh, kita kena restkan dia, janganlah. Until when? Sampai bila? Dia akan jadi lemah, lemak, manja, mengada. So keep on adding sampai satu je lagi you kena tahu, contraindication. What is contraindication? Benda yang kita tak boleh nak buat. Contohnya sciatica, ACL, apa-apa, kalau dia ada injury lagi, jangan worsenkan dia lagi. Ataupun the movement, don't do much. That is a contraindication. Kalau rotator cuff like this, you cannot keep on doing, giving cables, you know, giving. Avoid that. Unless the patient, the client dah boleh cakap, oh Mimi okay sikit. Then you start introduce the patient with those kind of exercises. Understand me? Kalau I nak go very deep, lagi susah. Tapi I nak ajar korang from this timeline, I give you a general injury, any soft tissue injuries from this timeline. Macam I cakap tadi, kalau player comes to me, I tak boleh nak suruh dia duduk 5 hari bengkak. Mimi aku tak boleh buat apa, aku nak duduk je, aku penat, kaki aku sakit. So I kena ikut dia 5 hari tak buat apa-apa. I cannot. So what we can prescribe? Dan kalau player tu ataupun patient you come to you baru first day injury, apa yang you nak buat? So I akan ajar you dari the first day of injury until probably 2 weeks. So first thing first, patient tu ada bengkak, right? So we cannot rest. Sekejap, by the way, kalau first kita ada injury, apa knowledge yang you ada? Price, kan? Kita buat price kan? Price, you know what price is? You know what price is? Protection, elevation, PR, rest,
ice,
compression. Tahu tak? Kan? Did you do that? Did you apply that? Tahulah kalau ada. Now no more. Discard it. Starting on 2019, diorang dah tak ada price. Even price tahun 1990 sampai 2000 kot. And then diorang ganti dengan polis. Tahun 2019, diorang buang polis, diorang buang price, diorang ganti dengan peace and love. Balik, can you Google that for me? Peace and love. Peace and love protocol. Tak. Oh. Okay. Ini. Okay, dah buka P sana protokol? Right. So the P sepatutnya protection.
Yes.
Ada tak? Still lagi ada sama protection?
protect,
Yeah. R is rest. Do they still have rest? No. Eyes is eyes. Do they have eyes? They don't.
No.
They even cakap avoid anti-inflammatory. Jangan letak ice. Diorang avoid icing. Even nowadays, starting in 2019, diorang buat research, diorang cakap kalau you ada injured, jangan letak ice. Sebab kenapa? We need, remember that I said we need blood, we need the oxygen, we need the nutrient. You keep on giving ice, you vasoconstrict. You kecilkan salur darah tu. You jangan, you tak nak bagi ais datang, you tak nak bagi darah datang. Macam mana dia nak okey? Macam mana kawasan tu nak elok? Right? C, compression still have. E is elevation, still have. So what? Education, right? E is elevation, so no more elevation. Because berbalik pada tadi, we need the blood. So keep on elevate, how's the blood gonna come? Right? So, yang paling penting adalah ais. Diorang dah buang ais ni. Diorang dah bagi.
You replace with what? If let's say the healing is like some people say heat is good, or
No.
ice.
You berbalik kepada tadi. So PEACE, E is what?
Elevation.
Elevation. The
What it is.
education. Education. Love. The peace and love. What is love? Load.
Optimism.
Optimism.
Vascularization.
Vascularization.
Exercise.
Exercise. Start that. Load the players. Start the exercise because we need the movement. We need the contraction. We need the muscle pumping to
So
pump the blood back, to pump the air bengkak back to the heart. We need the new blood to come in. So why keep on resting the players? Start the exercise immediately. But what exercise? Gila ke kau nak bagi dia jumping terus? Gila ke nak suruh bagi dia lari terus? So what kind of exercise? Because the recent research saying that we need to load the player, we need to exercise the players. We discard, they even discard the rest. Diorang dah buang rest, diorang dah buat ais. Maksudnya tak boleh duduk langsung. Kau tak boleh letak ais, rehat, chill, no more. Now get up, you're injured, get up. Come do the exercise. But what kind of exercise? So berbalik kepada ini. The first and the 5th days, apa yang kita nak bagi? Imagine there's a kite here. So, apa exercise yang kita nak bagi kat sini? Kita tak boleh nak bagi dia eccentric. Sebab kalau kita bagi dia eccentric, I'm gonna lengthen, I'm gonna worsen. I buka bukan lagi injury dia. Contoh kalau ada injury kat sini, so I buat macam ni. So bukakan lagi, macam kita ada injury lutut, tiba kita bengkok kan, takkan makin membesar. Dia punya kan, dia baru tutup, tiba kita bengkok kan lagi besar. Because we're doing the eccentric movement. So what we're doing, what we should do, concentric. Stays like this and goes up. So we just pump the muscles, we just contract the muscles to pump back the blood. Kita buat just these exercises. Contoh kita ada injury kat sini. Contoh kalau patient tu injury dekat hamstring, kita nak buat apa?
Leg extension.
Kalau patient tak boleh gerak,
Ha?
kalau patient tak boleh gerak.
Injury apa?
Contoh tadi kan,
Ha?
dia tak bagi gerak kan.
Dia tak boleh gerak.
Dia tak
Impossible.
boleh gerak dan dia tak bagi gerak.
Dia tak boleh gerak dan dia tak bagi gerak. Okay.
Because the add-on to this
That's the
question,
real situation.
Yes,
the
yes, yes. I understand.
normal situation when it comes to rotator cuff issues, that they won't let move too much because it's a very
Right. Yes.
subjective area.
Yes.
Because they have a ball socket of rotation.
Yes.
So they will put what do you call that?
Arm swing.
Yeah, and then they will not let to move.
Yeah.
Some healing will take 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
You know, so if let's say if you apply any form of exercise, can cause the worst. So the doctor said don't move. So how you will address
How am I
this
going?
problem?
I'm sorry if I curse, but I curse all the time. Fuck the doctors. Fuck the doctors. You know, for me, kalau contohlah Ayoy baru if you know Ayoy keeper,
Yeah.
dia dah 2 minggu still lagi tongkat, tahu tak? Sebabkan doktor kata he needs 1 month of a tongkat. Fuck that. The knee needs to have a loading. So I cut the tongkat, I cut bump. Dia dah tahu sebab bump hari ni operation. Dia dah tahu lepas ACL tak payah pakai tongkat. Because we need the loading, we need the blood to come in. So that's why berbalik pada peace and love, PEACE is education. We need to educate the players, we need to educate the clients, we need to tell them. Kalau macam players comes to me, tiba-tiba I cakap dekat dia, no more icing, pergi pakai ais. Tak rasa dia orang mengamuk kat aku. Diorang dah main nak dekat 10 tahun, tiba-tiba kita cakap no more ice. Dengan fisio yang selama ni dah 30 tahun dengan diorang, kata ice, rehat dulu. Tiba-tiba kita datang dengan perempuannya, angkau ni acah-acah pula nak suruh aku pakai. Am I right? Right? So how we going to tell them? So we need to educate them. We need to tell them. That's why we need to have knowledge. Kalau you ada very good anatomy, you have a very good knowledge, you can tell them, okay, boleh letak ice. You know, in research saying that we can put ice, but kita tak nak dia jadi vasoconstriction. So diorang kata letak 6 minit dan ke bawah sahaja, just to have the numb effect, just to reduce the pain, but not vasoconstriction. 6 minutes and below. So I just tell them, okay, aku letak ais 6 minit je, tak boleh lebih daripada tu sebab nanti tak elok, lambat. So kita explain lagi further. So berbalik kepada question you tadi, rotator cuff injury, klien datang come to you sakit, kita takkanlah kita nak bagi suruh dia push up pula. But still, for me, fuck it, I'll still give you a concentric exercise. But what kind of concentric exercise? Setengah orang tak boleh buat external contraction, external rotation. So you just stay here and ataupun just stay here and push, ataupun stay here and push. Constant contraction, isometric. Yeah, isometric. So just stay here or here, because shoulder has 8 movements. So cover each one of them. Flexion, extension, abduction, still contraction tak? Still ada movement tak?
So overall you are recommending isometric exercise?
For the first 5 days. Dia ada bengkak gila ke nak bagi dia, tak elok lagi, luka tu tak sembuh lagi, but we still need to
Blood flow.
kita still lagi nak kita still lagi nak the tendon or the muscle to work. So those kind of isometric. Even hamstrings, kita tak bagi lagi satu. Hamstrings, injured hamstring, gila ke kita nak bagi dia hamstring curl, because that is eccentric as well. Kita lepaskan dia dari eccentric. So just bridging isometric, or put the pad here, hold, ini tarik, ataupun macam ni, ataupun just tarik constant. That is isometric. Actually standard, what we can do, isometric, what we can do, ataupun any the first 5 days, actually standard, what we can do, calf raise, lagi, dorsiflexion is eccentric,
Hey.
plantar flex,
You call it
lagi, actually standard. Very easy. That is eccentric. So, using a towel, we don't eccentric them, but we just,
intermediately.
yes, we just do this. That is first 5 days. Mana? ACL nak bagi apa? First 5 days.
With the band,
With the bands.
then yeah, with the bands.
With the bands. Okay, understand. I found you. You rasa? ACL? First 5 days. Nak bagi apa? Ha? Tak belajar lagi. Guys, what supports the knee? Quadriceps. What else? What else? What else supports the knee? Glutes. What else? Hamstring, calf. Calf attached here, you know, they overlap the knee. So you need to tackle each one of the muscles.
Surrounding
That's
the
why anatomy is important.
Yes, that's why anatomy is important. I told you guys, berbalik pada you kena tahu mana tendon to insert. Hamstring, you tahu tak dia melekat dekat sini. Dia overlaps the knee joints. So you need to strengthen the hamstrings. You need to hamstring the quadriceps. You need to strengthen the calf.
So does quadriceps and hamstrings correlate with ACL? Ada sikit kan, tapi tak ada.
No, she's talking about adjustment of training for these muscles. You
Kita
don't do
balik
too
pada
much of
soalan
flexion and extension, then you're putting a lot of like you can apply like isometric.
Isometrics.
Yeah.
Yes. Tapi jangan jadi eccentric or anything that gonna worsen. Yang kita akan contoh macam anterior translation. You bagi dia squat, you bagi dia lunges. Tapi you know, if players comes to me, mampus engkau, tapi I will truly adjust it. Contoh dia buat lunges, This is for me, I tell you from my experience. ACL, dia ada ACL tapi kita tak nak entry translation, tapi I nak juga dia buat lunges. Bagi aku pergi mampus. Kau kena juga buat lunges. Apa dia? Kalau tiap balik, contoh ACL.
Sebab selalu kalau orang fisio yang untuk handle orang yang ada ACL kan, so bila tengah progress, sekali dia koyak balik.
Dia koyak balik. Sebab, okay, this is from my experience. Macam I cakap, I nak juga player tu buat lunges. Kenapa I nak juga dia buat lunges? Sebab lunges memang fokus kepada quadricep like gila-gila.
So this lunges exercise you will apply within the 5 days of
Yes.
injuries.
Yes.
3.
Okay, I teach you how. Do you have a...
What do you want?
Okay, tak apalah. No, anything. Okay, I nak dia buat lunges. Okay, tapi I tak nak worsenkan lagi injury dia. So I put the stick here. Can you give me a stick?
Careful that.
So I put the stick here just for him to stabilize, and I suruh dia bangun. So the knee tak gerak pun, tak gerak even an inch. Tak ada anterior translation langsung. So I just ask him to do this
So doing with the support lah.
with the support.
Kalau
Still
still
kita target benda yang sama.
feel the pain, need to adjust more.
Ya, adjust lagi. Contoh, tak boleh.
Kalau orang biasa.
Orang biasa.
Contoh progress.
Okay, you see,
Lunges pun tak boleh.
our problem is even the players also don't know how to do lunges properly. But having this support, they have no choice. They won't putting the knee beyond the toes.
Another thing, kita nak still lagi target quadriceps, hamstring and the glutes. I nak buat single leg raise. So, I boleh suruh dia bangun. Tapi bila dah end range, I suruh dia satu kaki. So still, you see, tak sakit sebab dia boleh bangun supported, 2 leg supported. Naik, but at the end, 1 leg. So, kita tukar balik, turun, bila nak turun, satu kaki. Kita just nak ajar sikit-sikit. Try to improve sikit-sikit. Tak pun macam ni. Dia tak boleh sangat. With support ataupun 2 sticks ke. So they have support. But still we add, we increase, we introduce, we teach, we educate them with an exercise. Do not wait. Itu berbalik kepada elite athletes. Tapi kalau you jumpa obese, kalau you jumpa orang biasa-biasa, you nak bagi apa? Bagi apa? Dia datang dari sikit lutut. Dia datang, still, why can't you give the stick? What's the worst? Pakai jacket, pakai the weighted, vest tu. Duduk bangun. Kalau you rasa susah lagi, kalau ini kan kalau rendah lagi kan lagi susah. Sebabkan lutut lagi stress. Tinggikan lagi. Duduk bangun. You rasa tak strengthening macam Devin cakap, macam you cakap, giving the strengthening exercise. These are the strengthening exercises. But with repetition, Sam cakap banyak kali, kena lama. 10 minutes ataupun with the throwing ball. Increase the heart rate, strengthening both comes together.
Help the blood flow.
Right. Ini kepada patient yang orang luar lah. So keep on throwing the ball, duduklah 20 kali ke, duduklah nak susah lagi kiri kanan. So we target the glute, we target the obliques. Throw sideways, bangun, kiri kanan. Increase the heart rate, strengthening exercises. We target so much. We target daripada bawah sampai atas. What else? Calf, hingkit. All muscles, right?
Yeah.
Tak ada yes, tak ada no. It all comes from your creativity. Actually, I'm amazed with Devon punya exercise because you know there's a lot of muscles involved. A lot of muscles, obliques, quads, hamstring, glutes, calf, brain, especially your brain. So kalau you bagi exercises yang ni extension, patient pun jadi bodoh. Dia orang dah 2 bulan duduk kat rumah, tapi you bagi dia extension, dia orang pun boring. So you really need to change the program, like seminggu, 2 minggu tukar terus. For my players, I takkan haram bagi exercise yang sama every day. Semalam dah buat, hari ni I tak boleh bagi. I takkan bagi exercise yang sama. Okay, I bagi you satu cerita lah. Kalau I ada actually standard, apa yang I akan buat? First day, I akan bagi dia just macam satu baldi, just buat ankle pump dalam air, right? Just ankle pump dalam air. The next day, I akan start buat macam ni, eccentrics, put the weight here. What else? Single leg, start bangun, start duduk, jalan on toes, jalan macam ni, combine them, up, toes, so many things. Balance is important. Another thing, if you have any injured players, any injured clients, any injured patients, always start the exercise that you prescribe with a non-injured leg first. Why?
Not affected.
Because when you're injured, you are balanced the most on the non-injured.
Not really. Kenapa? Kalau kita start, kalau you ada any clients or patient yang datang dekat you always need to start with a non-injured leg first. Kenapa? Fikir.
To see.
Ha?
Pressure very good.
Sorry?
Pressure very good.
Pressure very low. What is it?
Pressure
Pressure is very low. Tak juga, David. What do you think?
Because
Stress.
that's the area of muscles that you use the most.
Kita pakai kaki, kita start. Contoh exercise kan? Contoh I nak bagi yang macam ni. Dia sakit belah kiri. So I bagi kanan dulu. Start dengan kanan. Nanti kita nak buat kiri juga, kita kena balance lah kan? Kenapa I kena start kanan dulu? Kenapa I kena start yang kaki yang tak sakit dulu? Why?
Sebab nak tengok macam mana kaki yang elok tu berfungsi.
Yes, that is right. Kita nak tengok macam mana. So kalau kiri dia dah sakit, dia akan compensate. You know, the body will go like this. The bontot dia akan go like this. So kalau this is the right, the non-injured leg, so dia akan bangun normal, steady, chill. So kalau you start dengan kiri, macam mana you nak tahu, oh this is the right movement. So how are you going to correct that? So kalau you tak tahu cara macam mana dia bangun, you takkan boleh correct another side. So you need to know how the normal leg works first. Tak sakit kan? Okey, tak sakit. Ini kaki yang kita akan cakap dia. Okey, ini kaki yang tak sakit. Macam ni sepatutnya dia bangun. So I want to see you. Tak pun kita tak payah cakap langsung. Kita tak payah cakap. Kita tengok je dia. Kita buat bodoh je. Oh, sebenarnya dia tak boleh. Dia compensate. Dia start pakai pinggang dia. Dia tak nak pakai quadricep, dia tak nak pakai ni. Tapi dia start pakai pinggang dia. Dia naik macam ni. Ada. Sam, this is what you... I tunjuk you satu video. This is Charlie. You know Charlie?
Yeah.
Right. So this is Charlie. My players. He comes to me with an adductor injuries. So I suruh dia buat sliding board yang macam ni.
You showed me, right?
Yes. Where's the...
Ada sliding board.
So I pakai sliding board tu. Can you get me the sliding board?
Yeah, all there. Actually, my intention is for you to show Charlie's progress.
Yes. Okay.
Buka ni.
Charlie, where is Charlie punya video? Charlie injured selepas tu kan?
Just recently.
Recently kan?
Kita meet dekat Andrews lah.
Kan? Okay, tak apa. Cannot find it. Tapi the normal, when you start with the normal leg, so it goes like this. You need to bend the knee. It needs to go 90, 90, 90. Hip, the knee and the hip should be parallel, right? So it goes like this. It needs to be parallel. Tapi hari tu kaki kanan I check dia okay. Bila kaki kiri, when comes back here, bila nak eccentric dah okay. Tapi dia tak ada power nak pergi eccentric. So bila tarik, dia compensate dengan glutes. Dia tarik macam ni. Nak rasa sakit. So dia pakai otot yang lain untuk tolong dia. So the secondary muscle. That's why when you are teaching a client, when you're teaching your patient, you cannot just okay, next 2, 3. You need to look at the hip, knee, ankles.
Yes.
are they in one parallel movement again? Okay, contoh I buat macam ni Contoh I buat macam ni. Am I right? Am I right? No? So, batak needs to go lower. Ni dengan ni kena sama parallel. So kalau I pergi macam ni, kita tak target lah. Kita tak dapat target. Dia tipu je. Dia tipu. So sebab tu tak boleh tiru exercise orang lain. Tak boleh ambil je, ambil lah sikit dekat Instagram sikit, ambil lah kat YouTube sikit. If you don't have the knowledge, you cannot apply it properly. Dia pergi bawah lagi. Dia pergi bawah lagi. Ini dah salah dah. So nak buat macam mana? Nak hold like this. Patient tu tak boleh. Ada patient, aku tak tahan. So macam mana you nak tukar? Tapi kita nak target benda yang sama. So I tak jumpa lah
Memang you can forward to me, I can put in the group later.
So Charlie hari tu
Dia ada meja.
adductor.
Adductor.
Adductor, the groin muscle. So dia tak boleh nak buat macam ni sebab dia compensate. Lantaklah I buat macam mana pun, dia akan compensate. Dia akan tarik bontot dia. So the bontot dia will stick out just to push the leg. The bontot dia akan stick out. True. So you know what did I do? I put the bands like this. So I pull the band here. So bila tarik, dia akan lagi with the
Resistant.
tak, dengan skateboard tu. So bila I tarik, pergi dia okey. So bila tarik dia senang sikit sebab ada skateboard tu
Roller
senang
tu.
sikit. The roller.
Yang kita ada skateboard.
Ha. So you faham tak? You perasan tak? Same exercise, same focus, same aim, but bila patient tu tak boleh buat macam tu, bila client tu tak boleh buat macam tu, you tukar exercise lain that can mimic, that can target. You boleh capai lagi goal you. You capai hari ni, aku nak buat hari ni eccentric. Aku nak tengok dia boleh tak pergi jauh lagi. Tapi patient tak boleh. Tapi kita nak juga. Macam aku hari tu aku nak juga. Tapi kita tukarlah dengan cara lain. Sebab ini, okay, you see, this is very hard because this is kasar. Very easy. Tapi ada setengah orang tak boleh juga. So pakai skateboard. See many variation but still target the same thing. Right?
Bukan apa yang dia cakap sama ada ni surface dia kena tarik balik gunakan dia punya ni. So dia punya pressure is different. So oleh itu Charlie buat guna otot yang lain. Apa yang Mimi cakap, pakai skateboard tu kan bawah ada roller. Roll dia. So dia ada lain
Dia senang. Dia macam
bagi dia senang
je.
dulu.
Ya, tak stress sangat tapi dia still lagi macam
capai objektif.
Capai objektif kita. Kita tak nak dia macam ni sangat, kita still lagi capai objektif dia. So I bagi dia satu situation. Macam mana? I nak capai dia punya quadriceps. Tapi dia tak boleh nak buat squat 20 kilo dekat squat rack. So macam mana kita nak buat? Kita nak capai lagi benda yang sama. Sorry? Quadriceps. Stationary lunges, okay. I nak squat juga macam tadi. I buat movement yang sama. I buat movement yang sama, tapi patient tak boleh nak buat. Client tu tak boleh nak buat. Macam mana kalau patient tu dia tak boleh nak buat squat rack, dekat squat rack lah 10 kilo plate. Dia tak boleh buat. Maksud saya apa yang dia tak boleh buat tu? Dia tak boleh, bila dah macam ni dia dah start lentik. Ataupun bila drop bawah, dia punya batok dah start wing ke bawah macam ni. Dia dah jadi macam ni. So apa yang kita nak buat? Kita nak dia squat. Because squat is a compound movement that is very important. So the players, the athletes, the clients needs to know how to do a squat properly. Tapi patient tak boleh, client tak boleh. So nak buat apa? Macam mana kita nak variasikan exercise tu?
Seated squat.
Seated squat, very good. So seated squat, you ajar dia dulu macam mana movement dia dulu. Seated squat. Lagi variasi lain?
Use this ball.
Okay.
Put on your back.
Okay, very good. Lagi?
Squat.
Boleh.
Half squat.
Very good. Yeah, half squat. Lagi? Sebab banyak sangat kawan-kawan dah jawab. But actually very true. Pun tadi dah
Wall
cakap dah.
seat.
Yes. So So another thing is actually the most basic one. Sebenarnya even happen to me, kita expect player tu boleh buat sebenarnya 20 kilo, 30 kilo. Rupanya tak reti, betul tak Sam? Even though you see all these players lagi 30,000, 40,000, tapi sebenarnya tak pandai pun. Even buat squat pun tak betul. So tak boleh nak buat macam mana. So kita kena ajar juga. Mula squat dekat sini. You put him on 20 kilos, he's never been into 20 kilos. So you need to start with the 10 kilo first. See variasi. Reduce the intensity, reduce the difficulty. So you put 5 kilos, still lagi tak betul formation. Put in on a free loading like this. Do like this first. Kalau tak boleh, start with the weight. Tambah lagi. Okay, start weight dekat belakang. Kita mimic the movement. Put dekat belakang. With the core bag or anything. Put the core bag or anything. And then start introduction with the barbell. Sebab kita nak dapatkan balance. The barbell is actually very hard, you know. The squat rack is actually very hard. We need to go for balance. We need to go for the strength, compound movement. So teach dulu dengan barbell. Baru masukkan weight. Do not expect your client to be smart like you. Do not expect your clients to be like an elite athlete. So start low, you expect them high. They cannot achieve, change. Kita jangan bodoh lah ini pun tak boleh dia tak. Change, immediately change. Right? So you need to think within 1 second. Contohnya macam hari tu saya pakai gym ball dekat padang lah, dekat padang. I wanted to do my rehab lah dekat tepi. Sam banyak semua barang dia nak pakai. So I have nothing lah. I have plan everything. Okay, hari nak buat ni. Marker semua pun dia pakai. Gym ball pun semua dekat gym. Sam kata, Mimi okay ke? Okay lah Sam, ambil lah. So we need to change. Sebab Sam ada 20 orang player dengan dia. I ada seorang. So at the end of the day, I need to think of the team. So I give everything to Sam. So what I need to do? Walaupun kita dah plan, tapi kita need think fast. Okay, tak boleh macam ni, tak ada 3 marker, kita buat 2 marker. Still achieving the objective. Right? Am I right? So you need to think, study every day. You need to study. Repeat tadi. Okay. I nak ajar. Pergi nak tanya. Rasa macam kalau yang ni ada tak yang lagi tak faham? Sebab I don't want to go into details. I just teach you a general soft tissue injuries. Apa yang nak buat dia awalnya, dan daripada situ you dah tahu. At the end of the day, kita dah kena ajar dia eccentric training untuk elak injury lagi berlaku. So that is actually the same thing. Kalau you tahu dia punya anatomy, kalau you tahu macam mana otot tu bergerak, you boleh tackle, easily you tackle. Hamstring kerja memendek, so you buat dia memanjang. So do this. Oh, I teach you one thing the hamstring curl, right? The hamstring curl. So kita nak bagi patient kita ada hamstring injury. So kita nak variasikan dia. So kita tarik dia macam ni dulu 20 degrees. Kita ajar dulu yang sikit-sikit. But with 90 kilos, 80 kilos, gila-gila babi kita bagi dia. Tapi kita bagi ni as a short lever exercise. Still kita capai, tapi otot tu dia memendek macam ni je. Pam macam ni. Tapi kalau dia rasa dah 2 minggu, dah 3 minggu, we increase that 60 degrees. Bantai dia lagi the same weight. 60 kilo, 70 kilo, 90 kilos, capai dia lagi. So sikit. Sampai bila kita tak nak introduction dia dengan hamstring curl? Nak tunggu dia lagi 3 bulan. Coach, kita punya klien tak tunggu. Kadang-kadang diorang subscribe kita, diorang dengan kita 12 minggu je. Kadang-kadang 12 session je. Tapi kita still lagi tak bagi. Tapi if you are money-minded, let dululah. Faham tak? It comes to business lah. Jangan bagi dulu. Kita bagi dia. Kita explain dulu. Ini tak boleh macam ni. Tapi if you are in the sports team, if you are working, I cannot wait. My coach is like bising-bising dah dekat I. So I need to dah start dah 60 kilo. Bila dia dah start, kita rasa dah cukup proliferation on 3rd week, on 4th week, kita dah masuk remodeling dah. Kita dah masuk maturation phase dah. Dah masuk ke 25 hari ke atas, dah start maturation phase. Masa tu bantai long lever. So dah long lever, kita boleh tarik eccentric hamstring. Tapi ada setengah orang tak boleh juga. Sebab injury dia, hamstring dia koyak 12 cm. Karika, kena Karika tahun lepas. Karika injured, hamstring dia 12 cm. Ada setengah orang injured 2 cm dia. So walaupun dia 3 minggu, of course lah dia okay. Tapi injured 12 cm. So those kind of injury, dia tak boleh lagi. Walaupun long liver, dia tak boleh lagi nak buat. So nak buat apa? Nak kita kena bagi juga. Nak buat apa? Know what did I do? I help him. Macam orang nak buat bicycle tapi tak boleh kan. So the early, I tolong sikit, lepas tu baru dia buat. Early, I tolong sikit, baru dia buat. So bantai lah dia korang. If you want them to be fit, to be early, to be this, cepat. Another thing, kalau korang pernah ada stroke or incoming in the future, the stroke comes to you. Because I've encountered before, my client is a stroke patient. Walaupun dia dah umur 40, masa 3 bulan I dah boleh ajar dia untuk jalan. Dia kata dia tak kuat juga. Dia kata nak pergi gym. I have no time nak bawa dia pergi gym. Dan sekali dia pergi gym tau. So probably in the future, there gonna be stroke patient that comes to you. Dia nak buat strengthening exercise. Macam mana you nak buat? Sebenarnya tak boleh, saya tak boleh buat. Dia tahu tak? Research cakap, kalau you tunggu lagi lama, lagi lambat, dia akan recover. So lagi cepat you ajar dia. Sebab tu saya cakap, the peace and love is not from the athletes je. Daripada orang biasa, daripada orang muda, daripada baby pun cepat sangat dia ajar jalan. Sama juga dengan orang tua. So lagi lama you tunggu, dia akan jadi stagnant. Dia akan pain dia macam tu, dia pain facial dia akan jadi macam tu je. So kena hantar pergi physio, kita kena buat shockwave, kita kena pecahkan dulu, kita kena break the cycle, lepas tu kita kena ajar balik. Itu dah pergi jauh lah. Guys, I nak cerita satu lagi This is from my experience. Fee, kenal Fee tak? Firdaus. Fee, right? Pemalas tau orang ni. Sangat pemalas. He had a patella tendinopathy. Patella tendinopathy. Sebulan buat apa pun kat dia sakit. Aku dah jam dah masa tu. Dah tak tahu nak buat apa. You know what did I do? Bantai shoulder dengan chest dia. Bantai dia punya abs. Straight 3 hari bantai sampai dia lunyai. Sebab brain kita asyik fokus dekat sini. Dia jalan asyik pegang macam ni je. Dia diri kan, asyik pegang macam ni. Kau pernah tak sakit macam ni? Asyik pegang bahu je. The phobia, dia jadi protektif dah. Dia jadi orang macam pegang sakit, macam nak bangun kan, dia pegang macam ni. Dia pun sama juga. Jadi nak bangun kan, dia akan macam ni. Dia akan jadi main-main, dia nak menghilangkan rasa sengal-sengal tu. So dia akan main macam ni tau. So the pain stops lah dekat mind dia. So apa yang I buat, I bantai dia punya chest, I bantai dia punya abs sampai sakit, sampai otak dia tak fokus dekat sini, fokus dekat sini, dekat sini. So pain reduce here. Sebenarnya kita punya brain ni sangat intelligent. So you need to break the cycle, you need to break the pain threshold sampai you boleh sebenarnya capai benda ni. So macam I cakap tadi, there's no yes, there's no no. Do it. Think creatively. You need to think creatively. Kalau you tak boleh nak capai ni, you capai ni. Dia rasa lutut dia lembik, kuatkan kap dia. Rasa tak boleh juga kap, hamstring. Tak boleh hamstring, glutes. Those things, essentially. No yes, no no. Sebab I ada 12 orang ACL. Seorang tu masuk padan dalam masa 3 bulan. 3 bulan, sebulan. Look back in my Instagram. Kalau nanti follow I di Instagram. Kalau 2 bulan, bantai dia 4 session sehari. Pagi, tengah hari, pukul 2 lepas lunch, pukul petang balik. Satu hari 4 sesi. Ada set hamstring dia gila-gila babi dia, besarnya. 3 bulan masuk padang. Orang kata Mimi follow lah protokol 8 bulan kena tunggu baru masuk padang kan. I don't. Kalau if I keep on waiting, sampai bila I dah tunggu? You know? So, I tunjuk you wait. Where is it? So this one. Okay. This is after 2 months. The same leg. You see muscle bulk here, the right and the left. Which one do you think is injured? Which one do you think is injured? Left. Left. Which one do you think is injured? Left. Which one do you think is easier? Left, it's right. It's right leg. So the biggest muscles. Kalau kiri I buat 8 repetition, kanan I buat 12 repetition. Kalau kiri I boleh angkat 50 kilo, I angkat kanan I buat 80 kilo. I really need to strengthen those muscles because these muscles are helping the knee. If your shoulder is injured, you need to strengthen the deltoid. Deltoid has 3 muscles: anterior, posterior, lateral. So kalau you just buat flexion, macam mana dia nak okay? So you need to have, sebab deltoid cover until up here. Bicep tendons melekat kat sini. So dia overlaps the joints already. Dia dah cover a joint. Maksudnya dia membantu joint kita. So kalau you tak buat bicep, tapi janganlah bagi bicep curl je setiap hari. Am I right? So kalau you tak strengthen the muscle, those muscles, macam korang cakap tadi, strengthen the muscles, but that's not the aim. Your patient, your clients need to reduce the fat. So strengthening is not the aim. So berbalik kepada patient you, berbalik kepada client you. You know, for me, I have a patient this morning and later this evening. Walaupun first time I jumpa dia, patient tu cakap, anak dia kata kalau boleh nak bawa jalan, penat lah tiap hari nak bawa dia. Orang tua. These stroke patients, you know, I tell you from my experience. Anak dia cakap, kalau boleh nak lah mak ni jalan balik, kita tak larat nak angkat dia. Kita tak larat nak angkat dia nak pergi toilet every day. Tapi bila I tanya patient tu, makcik nak apa? Makcik sebenarnya nak saya datang ni tiap hari, makcik nak apa? Tahu makcik tu dia kata apa? Makcik nak solat je. Dia boleh solat sahaja. So, means dia nak diri je. Dia nak boleh duduk, dia nak boleh rukuk ataupun duduk dekat at least dekat kerusi sahaja. So what they need? They need to have a very strong core so that they won't lie backwards. They won't fall backwards, they won't fall forwards. They need to have a very good balance. So that's my aim. Kalau if your clients comes to you, dia cakap dia nak reduce weight, tiba-tiba you bagi dia strengthening exercise, berat aku tak turun pun. Mahal tak? Dia dah bayar kau mahal tau. So patient or clients comes to you with a knee pain, Mimi aku nak sakit ni hilang. Aku nak sakit ni hilang je Mimi, sebabkan aku rasa minggu depan aku ada family day, so aku rasa tak nak sakit lutut ni. Ataupun minggu depan aku nak kahwin, aku tak nak sakit lutut ni. So you nak bantai dia strengthening, dia ada 2 minggu je lagi. Be realistic. So muscle strengthening boleh develop within 2 or 3 weeks until up to 4 weeks. So kalau aim dia reduce pain, reduce the pain. If the client has aim to have a 6-pack, have the 6 packs. They paid you, they paid me to achieve their goals. That is the ultimate. Bukan aim kita tau. Bukan aim kita untuk capai, okay, saya nak jadi you bodybuilder, minggu depan you kena masuk Mr. Physique. Tidak. Berbalik kepada patient you. Kalau patient comes to you with a reduced weight, with a sciatica, with a back pain, apa yang you nak buat? So we comes back to the topic. Yeah, patient you tadi, I think I have explained secara yes, no, that you can think beyond. Apa yang you rasa, macam saya cakap, ada patient ni, ada client ni, dia datang dekat you, ada sciatica, ada back pain, ada ACL. You nak buat apa?
Ask the patient.
Ask the patient?
I think that patient wanted to go first.
Dia nak reduce weight kan tadi kan? Dia nak reduce weight. Dia nak
Okay.
No? Apa you rasa? Apa yang kita kena buat dulu?
Tengok apa yang dia mampu nak buat.
More to mobility lah.
More to mobility. Kenapa? Why you choose mobility exercise?
He has problem with sciatica, back, all that. So that's cover big muscle area, major
Okay.
muscle. So maybe work more on fine muscle like and all that.
Okay.
So that's my idea.
Okay, macam mana you nak explain kat dia? Okay, saya rasa saya nak buat fine motor movement dulu sebabkan saya rasa itu macam mana? Silakan.
So that's the thing lah. I think.
Okay, I client tu. Okay, I sakit ni. You datang.
So the thing is, I tell the patient that you need to be more. since you are not, since your major muscles have problems and all that, so why not working on your small muscles? It's also important for your brain. I mean, for your
I don't want to breathe properly. I just wanted to get skinny. I don't want to breathe properly. Dia cakap kan, macam tu.
so slowly you are developing your small muscles, for sure you can develop your big muscle.
Really Okay. Okay, good try. Okay, you. I am the client. I have back pain, I have sciatica, I have knee pain. I wanted to be skinny. What do you want? What you wanted to do with me now? Today. We have a session now.
Now I'm going to go do aerobic exercise.
Aerobic exercise. What kind of aerobic exercise?
Just do a brisk walk. That's all.
So kalau macam tu biar I tak payah bayar you, biar I buat kat rumah je. Right. What? Give me one thing. Brisk walk. No, I nak bayar rumah lah macam tu. I brisk walk, I tak nak bayar you. So you lose the money now. So you think.
Okay.
Mio, siapa nak cakap? Tak ada idea. Apa?
You can ask them.
Sam menjawab.
As we are talking behalf of trainers.
Yes.
We are not talking on the
on
medical
behalf of
side.
trainers, yes.
We are nowhere to understand until the extent pain of sciatica, and then to the extent pain of the ACL.
Right.
Like what you say, the time durations
Yes.
and when he got the injuries
Yes.
and the latar belakang.
Yeah.
As for trainers, we will first of all we do the body composition first to understand and what's going on with the person and how
Okay.
long the injury caused, what kind of thing. And then secondly, we will see the abilities. This is what we are doing here.
Am I saying this? I dah cakap kan, you tengok apa patient or client tu boleh buat.
Yeah.
So you keep on giving bagi fine movement lah, what?
You see,
For what?
I think my trainers are lost. And, first of all, I told them and putting it to see what they can, what they can't.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
When I asked you to do the balancing, how many seconds they can hold on the
Yes.
bosu or without the bosu or
Right.
additional things. So this is what we've been practicing. So maybe the guys are scared of you or talan or what. So this is what we do. Abilities,
Right.
yes and no's and can and can.
Yes.
And then from there we will endurance side we will see through the heart rate. What is the resting heart rate, target heart rate, and then we introduce the intensity, we introduce repetitions. So this is how we do overall evaluation within a week.
Right.
So and then week onwards we will customize the training program for them, and then we collect the fucking money of personal training.
Yes.
And then straight to the
Money.
point, and then
We need
if let's
money.
say the thing they can do it basically, we will shift it to an intermediate.
Yes.
And then from the
Right.
intermediate, we will enhance for them to be the advanced, so they reach the goals of losing fats, they encounter their problems and issues,
Right.
they create a confident level,
Right.
physically, mentally, they are stable enough. Like ACL, 1 year before I had an ACL player who had injuries, and after that he can't do it much. But the thing is phobia, jumping phobia, running phobia. So I put him on the backward running, backward walking, so that he can be able to clear off that. So in the medical terms, we are a little bit late behind, but when it comes to physical, to an assessment, we have our own principle and philosophy.
Yes, that's the thing. So
Yeah.
there's no, macam I cakap, there's no yes, there's no no. So just ask the player, ask the clients to do what they can do, and then just from that, you don't need like, okay, specific, hari ni jalan saja. The players, the patient is going to be boring with you. So don't be a yes man, don't be a no man, don't be stick to your what you've studied. You need to come to your real life where you need to be creative, where you need to think immediately. I told him many times, there's no yes, there's no no, there's no specific answer. Just ask the client to do what they can do, and then just from that. Kalau you rasa you boleh, you worsenkan lagi situation, reduce the reps, reduce the weight, reduce the intensity. Am I right? So I teach you what we can do with the players. Well, what we can do with the client. This is what I've encountered. As a player G4, okay.
Anything you ask, everything got in my gym. You can use.
This is what I
What
do.
do you believe?
Basically,
You can't.
no. Last ni pun sama juga. Dia ada ACL, dia ada sciatica, dia ada back pain. Is 54, obese. You were, kalau you punya client semua apa 90 kilo kan, my patient berat dia 130. So you know what did I do? Tapi orang kaya lah, ada swimming pool lah kat rumah dia kan. So selang sehari I masuk dalam swimming pool, selang sehari I masuk.
So maknanya you pun charge dia tinggi lah. See how we survive.
So, okay. Kita ada biasanya you punya klien satu session berapa jam?
Sejam?
One
45 minit ke sejam?
45 minit ke sejam?
Normally 45 minutes.
No, biasanya 45 minit. I tak bawa I punya plan. Usually dah draft for 1 week planning. Contoh macam dia, even for my players, I dah draft dia 1 week punya planning. Contohnya hari Isnin, kita akan buat strengthening exercise. Tapi the next day, dia tak boleh buat strengthening exercises lagi. 80 kilo, you nak bagi hypertrophy. You call it as a hypertrophy training. I tak boleh nak bagi dia. Esok mesti sore gila babi lah, betul tak? So you keep on giving the same exercises, we cannot. So the next day, it's more on recovery. So 20 minutes jogging, and then kita buat endurance, muscular endurance. The next day, muscular endurance. So the next day, dia dah start dah reduce the muscle soul. So kita boleh include the strengthening exercise, but with some mobility exercise. Ini hari Rabu. So kan mobility banyak on stretching, banyak on movement, banyak on base. So strengthening, akhir sekali kita buat mobility. Bila dah hari keempat, masa soal hilang, start balik hypertrophy training. Because we need the strength. Maximum loading masa hari Khamis. Hari Jumaat, dia dah start adapt balik, dia rasa macam okay sikit. Dia dah start penat. Dah satu hari aku bantai dia pagi petang. So Jumaat, reduce the intensity, recovery. Training periodization. Right? We learn training periodization. So players, patient every day tau datang dekat I, every day, pagi setiap hari. Kalau setiap hari I bantai dia 45 minit, esok tak lunyai ke? So ada peri kemanusiaan dalam membantai your players, your patient, your client. Okay, this is for me. Because I don't know you, but for me, memang patient memang tiap-tiap hari. Saat pagi, dia memang subscribe tiap-tiap hari. Sebab dia sama ada dia nak ni ke, kadang mulut manis. Oh, kena tiap-tiap hari, makcik baru boleh nampak efek. Wait lagi. You see, money thinking, money minded. I serious. Sam, betul tak? Kita kena ajar macam mana nak buat duit. It's not about being nice.
Your knowledge is value.
We're not being nice. Your knowledge and your words. We need to have the money to survive, to work, to extend longer, and you need to have a knowledge untuk yakinkan your clients. Oh, kita kena buat macam ni. Ini planning you untuk seminggu, ini yang kita akan buat. You rasa you boleh tak? Kalau tak boleh, I turunkan intensity lagi. Kita adjust. That's for me. That's how I work. I dah keluar, I dah draftkan siap seminggu. I akan bagi player I, okay, kau seminggu ni kau tak ada cuti langsung, ini planning untuk kau. Kau cuti hari Khamis je, Khamis petang.
Spesifik lah.
Spesifik, I memang dah go spesifik. Kita akan target muscular, muscle strength, muscular endurance, muscle mobility, aerobic. So I akan targetkan setiap tu. Fitness component, you know fitness component ada 11, am I right?
Yes.
So how am I going to return the players, to return my players to feel kalau diorang tak achieve 11 components ni. Kalau coach tiba-tiba nak I nak 5 hari je. Macam mana 5 hari je? Arguero, you know Arguero? Arguero, dia ada shoulder, dia ada rotator cuff injury. Skip this one part sekejap. Arguero dia ada rotator cuff injury. Dia ada 3 injury. Dari supraspinatus, bicipital tendinitis and dia punya capsule tu dia koyak. Dia ada 3 injury, dah 3 tahun. 3 minggu kot, I buat apa-apa dia tak okey-okey lagi. Coach dah bising-bising dengan dia, dekat dia. I cakap lah, coach, game ni nak pakai ke tak? Lepas tu game kucing, very important game tu. Coach nak pakai ke tak game ni? Kalau tak, saya dah kena tukar rehab dia. Okay, imagine, if I release the players, coach cakap okay Mimi, I nak pakai player ni. Lepas tu ada lagi 4 hari ke 3 hari lagi nak game. Coach nak pakai ke tak? Kalau tak, saya nak tukar rehab. Sebab imagine, kalau I still lagi stick dengan coach punya, macam still lagi ikut plan kita, player ni sakit, kita tak boleh nak bagi dia like very drastic, very power movement. I follow je lagi, so keep on bahkan tiap hari main pen, slow release. Tiba-tiba dalam masa 3 hari, coach cakap, Mimi, I nak pakai dia untuk game hari Ahad ni. Kau tak semampus player. So, I need to change. So, instead of giving the players this, I need to go this. I need to go body. I need to go teach the players how to do the impact movement, the contact movement, those things. I need to teach the player how to shield. kita dah start increase the intensity. So daripada strength, you naikkan dia, daripada explosive, you naikkan dia lagi sampai dia tentu play. So you see the progression, concentric, lepas tu mula isometric, concentric, lepas tu the eccentric, lepas tu loading, power, you know, sampai lah dia tentu play, sampai impact like bam, gerak balik. No, the snap, the very fast movement, those things, the intensity needs to go higher. So dengan coach cakap, tak apalah Mimi, saya tak nak pakai dia untuk hari Sabtu ni. So I can plan, I boleh tukar balik. Okay, Alvaro, sekarang kita maintain program review. So kalau coach cakap, okay Mimi, I nak pakai dia hari Ahad ni, immediately semua tukar. Petang ni dah kena buat dia aerobik, petang ni dah kena bagi dia fitness. Because players, they are not pandai enough untuk dia fikir dia punya fitness. I nak releasekan dia dekat Sam ke, I nak releasekan dia dekat coach ke, 2 minggu dah dengan I, tak lari pun, tak sentuh bola pun. How the players gonna play? How the players play 90 minutes, you know? If the players main game tu, nampak bodoh dia dekat I tak? Nak kontrol bola pun tak reti. Sebab dah 2 minggu tak pegang bola. Am I right? So, berbalik kepada patient punya situation. So come back to here, patient tu ada back pain, ada sciatica, ada knee pain. Know what did I do yesterday? As that patient of mine, I have 1 hour. I tak boleh nak buat straight cardio. So I target 10 minit. 10 minit of strength, 10 minit of endurance, 10 minit of mobility, 10 minit of mobility. I buat macam tu. So kita boleh target semua benda, tapi the next day dia rest sebab ada very high intensity. Kita dah target, kita bantai dia every day masa tu. Tapi the next day I dah cakap, esok kita buat recovery je. Kita buat swimming je, 30 minutes dekat dalam swimming pool. So I ajar you nak bagi strength exercise. Strength and endurance. Hari tu, satu hari, satu session, semuanya baring. Imagine semua exercise dalam keadaan baring. Sebab masa tu dia sangat sakit pinggang. Semua exercise bagi baring. So how many exercises can you give me baring? Can you give me one exercise in baring?
Glute bridge.
Glute bridge, very good. One exercise in baring. Fast. I cannot wait for you to think. Mio? Exercise in baring.
Exercise in baring.
Core exercise. Tapi dia ada back pain. Macam mana you nak bagi dia, nak suruh dia bangun, dia perut dia besar, you nak suruh dia tak mampu bangun. Am I right? Lower limb. Core exercise. Lower limb. Okay, very good.
Leg raise.
Leg raise, very good.
Plank.
Okay, boleh acceptable.
Plank, you have lower back issues. How are you going to put them on a plank?
I'll teach you later. That's what. Okay, you.
Okay, skip.
Seven.
Single leg bridge.
Single leg bridge. Okay.
Tepak.
Okay. Imagine me 1 hour giving baring exercise. How many thousands of exercise I'm giving? I pasang dia lagu Tabata masa tu. I pasang dia lagu Tabata. So I bagi dia glute bridge on 20 second kan. And then pegang dumbbell, baring, angkat kaki. Do like this. Tak apa, tak payah kat kepala lah. Just hand daripada sini. Apa ni? Ni. So keep on doing the same thing. Tabata, constant. Very short rest. So you
follow the sound.
Follow the sound. So heart rate increase, but still you targeting the strength and cardio as well. What else? And knee. So many exercises. If you are creative enough, you can think. Am I right? With these balls, I pegang bola tu, tak pun sepak. That's all cardio. You put a sandbag here and ask them to elevate the leg, strengthening for the quadriceps. Those things, right? Tepi, baring, ataupun keep on kicking the balls. Those things, pusing macam you cakap tadi. Planks. allow planks. My patient cannot do planks. 130 patient, 130 kilos of patient cannot do planks.
I mean,
they don't have a very
even you
good
go to the
strong.
players also, they cannot do it. They're using the glutes. They're using
Yes.
lower backs.
But
Not
for me, fuck it, I still do it. You know what did I do? Ask them to do this. Do any exercises, angkat kaki macam ni ke, just that back like you said. And ask the patient to do like this, and just one up and down. One up, just to strengthen the core. 1 second, 3 second. That's why I cakap, kalau dia rasa tak boleh, I buat 1 second je dulu. Up and down 10 times. The next following weeks, I suruh dia for 5 seconds. Pergi mampus saya nak cakap apa pun sakit pun, I ask the patient to do 5 seconds.
And
The
then,
next following weeks, I tambah lagi sampai dia boleh buat plank.
can I add on that? Kalau kita buat static awal-awal, macam dia buat banyak dynamic. You understand what I mean? So there will be a muscle contraction. You understand what I mean? Terlalu static, dia terlalu letih dengan lesu, mungkin otot tu dia tak boleh guna, dia akan cuba guna macam dia cakap
Yes.
cali kan. Dia akan guna otot yang lain. Kalau
Yeah.
macam apa yang Mimi cakap tu, saya memang akan agree, buat static dulu, buat dynamic dulu. As the progress come, then increase, then the last option is static. So you know which muscle to identify and get. Okay.
Right. Understand? Okay.
Dynamic first.
Dynamic first, macam I cakap, there's no yes
No,
or
depend on the muscle.
Depend.
Don't always dynamic. That's,
Yes.
sometimes we need isometric.
The time, macam cakap, the time, intensity, difficulty, those things, adjust from that. Buat apa yang patient tak boleh buat, tapi satu you kena cakap dengan patient. Last sekali kan, if you feel anything dari body ni, there's going to be 2 types of pain. It's going to be a sore pain or going to be a sharp pain. Sharp pains means you aggravate the pain. Kalau balik tu sampai dia rasa sakit sangat, it means that you aggravate the pain. So you need to know what kind of benda yang you dah prescribe dekat your client. Macam yesterday, bagi dia one exercise very simple je, macam ni. No, the kick butt macam ni je kan. Tapi I suruh dia bend so much sebab dia ada ACL, so dia bend forward so much, dia cannot bend because he has a meniscus. So when he bends so much and he extends, malam tu dia start rasa sakit sangat-sangat. So I said okay, I cannot bend so much. So the next day I need to adjust, I cannot bend so much. So you still can do the donkey kicks, but start here and here, start here and here, but add the weight. Mula-mula you letak 1 kilo, tapi you nak senangkan dia, you letak 3 kilo. Still achieving our targets. Easier, but doesn't mean that it's easy because you put 3 kilos. Here, it's hard, yes, because range of motion is big, it's longer, but it's 1 kilo. Tapi kalau you nak buatkan dia macam ni je, put 3 kilos. Those things. But don't believe in me. It's me. I'm working with the elite athletes. You guys are working with the ordinary people. So adjust from that. I need player I kena cepat, kena letak weight. Sebab dia dah ada muscle memory. My players has a muscle memory. They've adapted with 5, 10, 20, 30 kilos already. So you need to start zero first. You need to start 1 kilo first. And adjust from
On
that.
touch on muscle memory, setiap individu, even our normal clients also have muscle memory. As a human being, everybody muscle memory. Maybe 18 years old, she was a 100 sprinter. Now she's 40 years old, carrying a lot of these issues. Maybe the adaptation. What she's trying to tell is like players adapt is very quick because the muscle memory is still fresh. It's never faded. But most of the general members, it's been faded. So you need to recall back that again, you won't get accurate. But you need to start back like what she says, adaptation. Start with the progressively until they can gain back the memory or at least 50%. Players is about 80, 70, 80, 90, 80 because they are still adapt with the same system. You understand, huh? So this is what as a trainer we need to understand.
Yes. Okay.
So anything else?
Basically, macam you touch on the sharp and sore. So how do you differentiate?
Have you ever encountered sore pain before? Sore pain
After working out.
after working out. There's this muscle sore, like drums, right? That's sore. Sharp pain, just localized pain.
Oh,
Untuk
it's
sakit.
specific area.
Specific area.
Okay.
naik tangga pedih, turun tangga pedih, nak bengkok kaki pun sakit. Tapi kalau muscle sore is general, the whole muscles is very sore.
Yeah.
But you have at one point, it means you tear up the muscle. Sebab koyak mesti one point dia. Dia akan rasa pedih satu spot. Dia rasa menyucuk satu spot. That is worsen the pain. You understand? So, kalau esoknya patient atau klien cakap sakit, adjust from that. Tapi kita, ni ada trick lah kan, this is real life trick. Kalau datang, dia tak boleh nak, oh I'm really sorry, oh mungkin I buat salah, those things. Adjust from it, oh hari ni kalau sebab kadang sakit, saya akan ubah sikit exercise. Mungkin, you know, for me, for my client, I tahu dah, petang dia tak, oh I fucked up, I think I push her too much. Sometimes we are so eager that we giving it so much, you know. We don't know. Dia sebenarnya dia ni sangatlah motivated. Dia ikut je. Tapi sebenarnya dia tak mampu. Macam saya cakap, dia boleh buat 10, tapi dia buat 40. Double. Sama juga macam klien kita. Kita rasa dia okey, tapi kita push dia so much, balik tu dia sakit. Tapi bila kita rasa macam I think I fucked up, balik tu, habis tu, just remind her, I think you're gonna have like a very bad sore, like a very sakit lebih sikit. Put ice or do this the next day, do recovery. Bagi clients you expect what's gonna happen tomorrow, sakit ke apa ke, so that they won't blame us. They won't nanti esok dia datang ni, oi lagi sakit lah aku buat benda ni. Tell the players, tell the clients that you're gonna have that pain tomorrow. Mungkin akan sakit lebih sikit sebab hari ni memang kita buat memang tinggi sangat. Memang saya fikir. Tapi tak apa, saya bagi awak 2 hari rest. Macam tu. Lembut, senang sikit hati dia. That's money minded, that's real life situation. Because there are things, there are situation that beyond your control. Ada setengah benda walaupun kita bagi sikit, tapi still esoknya exaggerate, sangat sakit lah kan. Sebab every individual is different. Okay.
On the point of pain, sakit, itu very commonly sebagai trainer kita nampak. Sometimes you akan blame yourself. I overload dia ke? Esok dia sakit pula teruk. You know, it's a big question because the person's abilities boleh accept ke tak dengan load yang you bagi tu, kan? Keesokan hari kalau you nak bagi dia rehat, maknanya you dah break the connection between the recovery pace because they're not expert to recover themselves, you know. The best option is like to call them back, then examine them back again, and to know that how much is the muscle sore, because you're going to have a continuously program dengan dia orang tau. You kena tahu dia punya recovery dia ambil berapa lama untuk you punya latihan sebegini, supaya you tak, mungkin you akan follow up dengan latihan yang sama, mungkin you akan reduce yang latihan itu, ataupun you akan increase. You understand? Mungkin dia tak tahu dia balik rumah dah recover dah. You know, the next day is good to call them and examine, and then put them on the active rest. Maknanya buat bicycle, you understand? Don't break the chain, because they feel like seram. Strength training itu seram. Saya tak nak buat ni, seram, sakit. You understand? And then they expect you to bagi dia cuti. Maka dia punya results adalah terhad. Dia cepat. We can't see the results quicker. You understand? Put them on the active rest. Pump the blood like what she said. Keep it active so that the blood, oxygen, quick out the blood to recover the muscles as quicker as much as possible.
That's why my players has a program, so they don't give me excuses. Oh yeah, I expect you to have this, but this is going to be your program. That's why pagi mungkin kita buat a bit of muscular endurance, and then we will do the mobility, then we will do the recovery. Like we have like 1 hour or 2 hours of program, so you dah plan dah. Okay, 30 minit dah buat muscular endurance dulu, and then the rest is recovery. More stretching, more on active stretching, dynamic stretching, ballistic stretching, do whatever. So plan your day ahead. Kalau Sam ambil barang you, think creatively. Kalau you rasa orang dah buat tu, dia tak boleh, patient you tak boleh, tukar. Okay, so Q&A questions. Think it's about 1.5 hours kan?
Almost 2 hours. Okay guys,
2 hours.
thank you so much, Mimi.
Right.
The question that you answers is very precise, because to show that we summarize it, you know, I never take a note, but I summarize it, whatever, because I experienced Mimi in a real life, see what she's doing with the players. Now you know why I'm impressed with you, and keep on telling you this for the whole year. Almost until I get to know you from the first place, because having a physio so far in Perak, tutup lah. Tutup.